Okay, welcome to our next demonstration of this would be project number 17. And for project number 17, we're going to continue on with our work with a four-way switch that is teamed up with two three-way switches controlling a lamp, a light holder. So now for this particular scenario, project number 17, now keep in mind this is completely simulated, and I know we're kind of makeshifting this in a way that we have three boxes. However, we have four implements, so we're kind of having a makeshift fourth box. In this case, box number one is going to have a three-way switch. Box two will have our lamp holder. Box three will have our four-way switch. And finally, box number four will have our second three-way switch. Now, between the powers, a couple things to point out to you. Power will run into our first three-way switch. The power will then run between boxes 1 and box number 3 to our four-way switch. Keep in mind the power going in will be our common. It will then go from the travelers on the four-way switch. Keep in mind the common is our input, the travelers are our output, and the travelers will be hooked up on the four-way switch, will be hooked up to the travelers on the three-way switch in box number 4. From there, our power in our three-way switch will be connected on a neutral that is flagged. So in this case, this is going to be a good scenario, good practice of how to use a flagged neutral. This is a neutral labeled as a hot wire. So we have this hot wire running from our common on our three-way switch that will control our lamp holder. Notice how on our hot terminal there is a neutral wire that is flagged. Yes, just like in project number 16 or one of our earlier projects, we had a neutral that was flagged on two sides. You want to do the same thing. So that way, in any case where you have someone that's going to open up a junction box and come across any neutral that could possibly be hot, it's always got to be flagged. So that way, you know, or anybody else would know, when they open up that junction box, instead of it being a neutral, it is going to be a hot wire. It's flagged. So I have one that's flagged on our box number 4, and on box number 2, the neutral running to the hot terminal on our lamp holder is going to be hot. And then from there, we're running our neutrals back over to our power in. Great practice and utilizing all wires, in this case including our neutrals on 12.3, so that way those neutrals are labeled as hot. So great practice in how to flag different wires and making them a hot wire. A very fun project to get to put together. So how we go about putting it together, step-by-step process. We have our board here. So I'm going to start off easy, start with that power running in. Start with the first three-way switch. I'm going to go ahead, I'll just wire up to our, I'll hook up to our power running in, the first common. From there, we're going to use our two hot wires on our first 12.3 cable and connect to our travelers. Now from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hook up to our four-way switch. I'm skipping a box and going from box number 1 to what would be box number 3 and connecting to our four-way switch. Now keep in mind we have our commons on a four-way switch. In our previous video I pointed these out. I figure I'd point them out again. These four-way switches, they have 4 different terminals. We have 2 black terminals, those are our commons. We have the 2 gold terminals on the bottom, those are our travelers. If you check on the back side, like we have on our switch here, it labels the black terminals as input, the gold terminals as output. So the power is going into our commons, and we're going to go out from our travelers to hook up to our second 3-way switch. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up to our 2 travelers from box number 1. We have our red and our black wire, and what would be called our box number 3. Once we're hooked up to our travelers, we're going to go ahead and hook up our travelers on the 4-way switch to the red and the black wire on the 12-3 cable that runs between our box number 3 to a box number 4. There we have box number 3. I'll run over to box number 4. We'll hook up this last 3-way switch. I'm going to go ahead and wire together our travelers. Travelers are going to be our gold terminals. Keep in mind, gold terminals on a 3-way switch are called the travelers. Black terminals are called the commons. Commons are going to be our entrance of power as well as our exits. Exits meaning that they are the power that's running to what the switches are controlling, primarily that lamp holder in these scenarios. So I have my 2 travelers that are connected. From there I'll hook up my black terminal. In this case, I'm going to use a neutral that is flagged as hot. Now flagging, I'm just using this electrical tape. I'm going to wrap it around our neutral in box number 4. Just because I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and flag the neutral that will run over to our box number 2, supplying power to the lamp holder. So our 3-way switch is all wired together. Now running our power over to our lamp holder. All right, since I have it right here, I'll go ahead and hook up our neutrals. And this would be the only neutral that I'll be having to put together. I kind of cheated a little bit with this demonstration. Had the neutral all together in box number 1 that relays all the way back over to our power in. But from our lamp holder, just so that way I'm clear, our neutral is going to run from our lamp holder. It'll run all the way back over to box number 1 between these two terminals, between these two neutrals. And we have our power in here that's running back, and there we have our complete circuit. And the only thing that I have left to connect would just be our grounds. So I'm only the only appliance I'm grounding in, well, between boxes 2 and 3, would just be our 4-way switch. No ground is supplied to our lamp holder here. Only supplies neutrals and hots. And then finally I have my 3-way switch in box number 4. That will be the last one to be grounded. From there, I have my completed project number 17, a 3-way switch, exchanging power between a 4-way switch in box number 3 and a 3-way switch in box number 4, all of which these 3 switches control a lamp holder in box number 2. And that concludes project number 17.